Hello and welcome to Spirit Touched. We're going to take a little look at that hymn based on Acts 22:14, God of our fathers, written in 1876. This is a hymn of praise about the almighty hand of our fathers God. It leads us in beauty along with the stars it created. Those stars are a series of shining worlds throughout the sky. This is just one reason why our songs of gratefulness should arise before his throne. Verse 2 tells us his love is divine and is what led us in the past into this free land where our lot is cast. It also asks him to be our ruler, guardian, guide, and stay. His word is our law. His path should be our chosen way to go. Verse 3 tells us that his mighty hand keeps us from the alarms of war and deadly pestilence. It's strong enough to be our ever sure defense. Then it asks for his true religion to increase in our hearts. Knowing and believing in him is the only true religion. His goodness is bountiful and nourishes us in his peace. The last verse asks that he refresh his people along their toilsome way, taking us from night into his never-ending day, to fill all of our lives with his love and grace divine. This is why our glory, laud, and our honor and praise should forever be his. 1876 was the 100th year of this nation. Mr. Roberts wrote it in honor of and to celebrate its birthday. The music came 12 years later to celebrate 100 years of our Constitution. This man was a veteran of the Civil War in the 84th Unit of the Ohio Volunteers. Then he became a pastor. Let's go back to verse 2 for a second. In the story begun in Exodus, there was his mighty hand of love that led his people out of Egypt into the promised land. Why? Because they had cast their lot with him. It was his cloud by day and fire by night that was their guide. It was during that 40-year trek that he gave them his law through Moses. On that trek, it was his manna and quails that nourished them. It's his mighty hand that will take hold of our weak one and guide us safely into our home in heaven. And we will sing new songs of even greater praise before his awesome throne, while gazing at his shining face. This hymn isn't sung very much, and it's a shame because it's so beautiful. It stirs my heart every time I sing it. It's a song for two nations, ours and Israel, because he is the God of our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's also the God of our fathers Washington, Adams, and Jefferson. He put both of our nations together for his reasons. We are to stand beside Israel in her time of need. Psalm 122, verse 6, tells us to pray for the peace of his capital city, Jerusalem. He is the common bond between our two nations. Both sets of those fathers had faith. It was strong because of what God took them through. All that time Paul spent in jail only made his faith stronger. There was a holy Theirs was a holy faith. Ours should be too. They died in their faith. We need to ask ourselves, is my faith strong enough to die for? Will it get me to heaven? The stories of these great men of God should be faith builders for us and encourage us to pass our faith on to the next generation. Yes, the same is true for the faith of our mothers and grandmothers. Romans 1 6, verse 16. These fathers were not ashamed of their faith. We should not be ashamed of ours. You see, the more you tell others about your faith, the stronger it gets. It's one of those things from God that the more you give it away, the more He gives back to you. Once you get it, you can't get rid of it, and why would you want to? It's one of those boomerangs we talked about. It pleases God when we share our gift of faith in Him with others. So just keep on sharing and letting Him refill yours from His bountiful supply. Hanging on to it will only cause it to wither and die. Like love, grace, mercy, and forgiveness, it only grows when you give it away. When you tell someone about yours, you are planting a seed in their hearts. Take your seeds with you wherever you go and plant them as the Lord leads. Then thank Him for allowing you to be one of His seed planters. You can't ask for a better return policy than that. Seeing faith in action in others feeds our souls, and they need to be fed just like our hearts, egos, and stomachs. Let others see your faith in action and get fed. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, faith gets fed, then put into action. You may send your prayer request to heanswerstwo@gmail.com, and we will pray that He helps you put your faith in action.